Hi, I'm Pav.
And I'm Neil.
And welcome to the Top 10 of Anything podcast.
Let's start the countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We've said many times that the 80s is arguably the greatest decade of all. The music, the fashion, and the movies. But 80s action movies was something else. From sci-fi action to swashbuckling action, from gritty cop action, must be careful how I say that, to high-octane action, the 80s had it all. This episode will be a little different as we're going to pick our favourite 80s action movies from each year of the decade. But first, here's Neil with 10 80s action movie facts.
Well, to be fair, it's not actual facts, but I thought it'd be interesting to find out what was the highest grossing movies from the 80s from each year. So at first, we've got 1980 was The Empire Strikes Back at $209.5 million.
Axel Foley. Axel.
Achmal, Achwell,
Axel.
1981, we've got Raiders of the Lost Ark, which took in an amazing $212 million.
How's a guy like you end up a bouncer?
Just lucky, I guess.
1982, we've got E.T. took $359 million.
Yes, sir, the check is in the mail.
In 1983, we've got Return of the Jedi with $252.6 million.
There can be only one.
1984, we've got Beverly Hills Cop with $234.7 million.
He does.
And then in 1985, it was Out of Africa with $225.5 million taken.
Get away from her, you bitch!
1986, we got Top Gun with $176.9 million.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
1987, we got Three Men and a Baby with $167.7 million.
I'm too old for this shit.
1988, we've got Who Framed Roger Rabbit with $238 million.
Get to the chopper!
And in 1989, we've got Batman, $251 million.
Yippee Kay, motherfucker.
Oh, look at that. Perfect timing for everything. That was almost like we planned it. Welcome, everybody, to 80s action movies. And as I said in the little intro, we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to do it like we do with the number ones of the year. We're going to take each year and then pick our favourite action movie from each year. So it may sound easy, but I know personally I had 3 or 4 of my favourite ever action movies in the same year, and I had to choose between one of them, which wasn't easy. We are joined by one of our lovely top heads. It's Jeannine. Hello, Jeannine. Yay! Finally.
Yay!
Finally. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. I mean, it's, you know, with all the technical problems or whatever, we're just happy that you're here, and we're happy that we can start looking back on the greatest decade ever. Kids,
indeed, yes.
If you weren't an 80s kid, you missed out, is all I'm going to say, because everything was new in the 80s, I feel. I don't know about you guys. I mean, to me, to you, Jeannine, is the 80s your favorite decade?
Absolutely, yeah. I was a teenager in the 80s, and I turned 20, I guess, in 89, so there you go. But yeah, it was the best.
Me, same age, same as me.
Are we?
We are
nice.
the same. Yeah.
I just had a birthday. I just turned in August.
What year? What day?
15.
3rd. Wow, and I'm the 10th.
August.
Oh, really? My daughter's
all
the 3rd.
August babies. There you go.
My daughter's the 3rd. My son is the 6th. And I'm the 5th.
So best obviously in the water 9 months before August. I can't work out what night. Well, that'd have been November, I suppose.
November.
Yeah.
It's cold, isn't it?
It's cold. Need something to do. Nothing nights on TV. Yeah.
Exactly.
So there you go. Now, in regards to action movies then, Jeannine, is that your favourite genre of movie?
No.
No? Oh, shit.
No. Don't. My favorite genre is comedy. I just love comedy. Anything funny. In fact, I just watched the one you did, top 10 Monty Python, and
Yes.
I was at work, and I should not have been laughing as hard as I did. So good. I love any kind of comedy, British comedy, American comedy, all of it. But I do enjoy action movies.
Good.
And have enjoyed the movies that most of them that I'm bringing up here today.
Yeah. I think hopefully if you have fun tonight and you come back, then we will do the same thing, but we'll do comedy movies. We could do. I mean, I want to do 80s comedy movies because I watched the Cannonball Run this week. I said to Neil, and I hadn't seen it for years, and I absolutely loved every single second of it. So I would want to do 80s comedy movies just so that I can talk about the Cannonball Run.
Yeah.
Because it is, for me, I can't believe I never put it in my top 10 comedy movies. That's just
Well, there's
crazy.
one that came up today, and it's like a extra, but have you guys seen Big Trouble in Little China?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. Love it.
I love that movie.
That is such a good movie. It didn't make my choices in tonight, but it could have very easily done. Done. Neil, where do you stand in regards to 80s and action movies as your favourites then?
Well, I mean, we'll find out whether my choices are what other people would give, but I'm like you, Pav. 80s was my teenage years. You know, I left school the same as you guys in the 80s. So the 80s movies always will and still do hold a special place in my heart. But I found it so hard. I was saying to you earlier, it's just, there's ones that I know I had to put in there because I've waxed lyrical so often about these movies. I thought I can't not put them in there. So I probably won't speak too much about them because I've said everything there is to say. But other ones, I'm like, it's like Sophie's Choice, isn't it?
Indeed.
Do you put that one in? Do you put that one in? I don't know.
Yeah. It was fun for me because I did this list with my husband. So we had quite a fun time looking them up and talking about them and deciding, well, I like this. Well, it was a good time.
Yeah.
Then you argued, then you fell out, and then because that's what tends to happen with these kind of things.
And we got back together.
And you got back together, and then
the dog was so sad.
Yeah. I know the feeling. But the one thing is I find with especially 80s movies is when they're really good, they feel to me like they're timeless. They could have come from any decade. But when they're bad, you can tell that they're bad 80s movies, you know? And then not every movie that was released in the 80s was fantastic or great, but some of the movies that were bad were really... I mean, that's another one we'll have to do, Neil, is like top 10 bad movies. I think that would be a great one to do, whether you do that.
Oh, I'd love to do that one.
That'd be a good one.
Or so bad they're good. How about that?
I mean, so bad that they're good. Oh my God. Well, that's 2 extra episodes we've got now. So we've got bad movies and so bad that they're good movies. That's great. Okay. Right then, Jeannine, kick us off with your favourite action movie of 1980.
1980, I had to go with Flash Gordon.
Oh.
I'm a big lover of this. Do you know I've still got the original soundtrack album from when I was at that age on vinyl?
Have you?
I mean, I've ruined it by writing my name on it because I don't know why I wrote my name on it, but
that's amazing.
But I'm a huge fan. Mike Hodges. Was it Mike Hodges? Yeah. Pretty sure it was. But yeah.
I'm sure. Sorry. I'm not sure, but it was campy, but in that 80s kind of fun way. And then Queen did the soundtrack, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And I liked it just because of its campiness, and it was action.
It was. And I think if there's ever a movie that encapsulates, is that the right word, Neil?
Encapsulates.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
A movie that's so bad that it's good, I think, is Flash Gordon. Because some of the acting in it is not great. Some of the special effects are a little bit like wonky, but
wonky to say the least.
So much fun. It is such a fun movie, and Max von Sydow as Ming the Merciless is just great. He's like chewing up the scenery. That's a great one to start with. without a
The
shadow of a doubt.
costumes and everything.
And we've spoken about Sam Jones, who played Flash Gordon so many times. Jeannine, he had such a checkered future, after.
He was due to be the next big thing until he made a very, very poor. Well, he didn't think it was at the time decision, wasn't it?
Yes.
About
another big thing.
Bad decision. Dive here.
Have you? Do you know this, Jeannine?
No, I don't.
No,
right.
I would say Google it, but just don't Google it at work. Just put in why did Sam Jones not become a megastar, and I'll give you a whole story.
Was it Playgirl? The name of the magazine, which was
yes.
Yes. Oh, you had a look. There you
that's
go.
Yes, Jeannine. That's the exact look.
That's what ruined his career.
I'm sure there'll be like a video explaining it on YouTube, and if there is, I'll put it in the video playlist for our top head so that we can.
Okay, yeah, I'm fascinated.
Instead of going into big detail here, because I don't want to do that to you, Jeannine. It's probably too early in America for you for that.
Well, she's just had a look.
And I'll start sweating again.
Yes, exactly. Go on then, Neil. Your 1980, please.
Well, some might say this is sci-fi, but I still say it's action. It's The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, that's my 1980 as well.
It could not be. I've spoken about it time and time again. It's my favorite Star Wars movie. It's timeless, isn't it? It
is. It's the best. I think it's the best Star Wars movie. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I mean, I like Star Wars, obviously, but I'm more of a Trekkie, which is fine.
Nothing wrong with that.
That was the best one, I think.
Yeah, and it's got some great moments. It's memorable. It's when everything changed, the big reveal or twist or whatever they say. So I've spoken about it time and time again. So
I'm the same.
Just had to be there.
I was just looking at some of the other movies. I mean, Superman 2 came out in 1980, which is another great movie. Yeah, and the Blues Brothers also come out this year as well.
Yeah,
I love the Blues Brothers.
Would you say that's more comedy than action now?
I mean, it is a comedy movie, but it's got some great
the car chases.
Yeah. I don't know. I think of it as comedy because you think of John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. They're funny. They're from Saturday Night Live and funny.
I think you're absolutely right. I think if we were doing 1980 as comedy movies, it would be in there, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not apologizing for the fact that it's Empire Strikes Back and it's Star Wars, but obviously we've said so much in so many other episodes about Star Wars and stuff. It just felt like it had to be there. It had to be the choice. So
I get it.
Okay then, Jeannine, your number. See, I've got to stop doing that for this one. 1981, please.
Well, there was two, but I had to go with Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That's mine.
Mine.
Yay! We've got a full
Raiders
one.
fan. I know some of the later movies got funky. I will watch them anyway.
Yeah,
because
same.
I just love Harrison Ford as that character, and the story for me is beside the point.
Yeah.
So I have not seen the most recent.
Well, nor me, Jeannine, nor me.
Oh, okay. And I've heard it's not good, but
yeah, I have. I've only seen it once, and I think I need to see it again. I really do, because I don't know whether I was expecting too much. I love
coming
Harrison
to Disney
Ford.
Plus soon, anyway.
Yeah, it will be coming up. Yeah. I love Harrison Ford, like with all my heart. I do, and he really does try. You can tell that he's really giving it his all. But I think the story just let him down a little bit, which is such a shame. But I hope when I see it the second time, I might watch it a little bit more laid back rather than expecting too much. I don't know, but I mean, for me, I know in yours, Neil, Raiders was in our top 10 movies of all time.
Yeah, and I actually think Raiders of the Lost Ark is probably the best action film ever made so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I couldn't go with anything else. So my husband and I are watching at home, streaming or whatever, all the Raiders movies. And then now it's going to stream. We'll have to see it on streaming. And then we'll watch that last one.
Yeah. It'd be interesting. What did you think of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?
I liked it. Okay. So I'm somebody that can sit through a bad movie. Obviously.
Yeah.
So I was okay with it. the acting wasn't bad. So again, I guess that's what I look for. The story was a little weird, and it did pull you out in a couple spots, but I maintained I was okay with it.
Yeah. I think it's 2/3 of a great movie. And there's 1/3 there that is just like you say, it pulls you out of the movie. I think Shia LaBeouf swinging with the monkeys was one bit that I thought, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
And Indiana Jones in a fridge while a nuclear weapon goes off was another one that I thought that's just.
And then just pops the door open.
Yeah, and he's fine.
Yeah.
Like it happens every day. Yeah, that just seemed like a weird one. But I think that for Finian and I think we've said enough about Raiders over the last 104 episodes of the podcast, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, not much more we can say. Okay, let's move on to 1982 then, please, Jeannine.
1982, I had Conan the Barbarian.
Oh.
I very nearly put that one in myself. I'm a big fan as well.
Yeah.
Why, Jeannine?
Well, you can tell I like comic book movies. I like comics. And I don't know why. It was just a fun movie.
It's a really well-made movie. If you go back and watch it, it's really well made. It's well written. It was John Milius, wasn't it, who directed it? I mean, it was written by Oliver Stone. It was, I think people underestimate, because it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, they think, oh, it's just one of those throwaway movies, and it's really not. It's got a really good story.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's really good.
I've never seen it, yeah.
It's really good. It's Arnie, obviously, in his muscle prime. He fits the role perfectly.
How many did they make? How many did Arnie make?
2.
Right,
and then they remade it with Jason Momoa, which is just dreadful.
Right. That's right. So Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Conan the Destroyer, they made it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, whimsical, didn't they?
Right.
I like most of Arnold's movies. I think that he put his all into it. He really, and that makes the movie better even.
Yeah. I think the one thing with Arnie is always that, like, he always played to his strengths. Do you know what I mean?
He made good choices.
Yeah. They knew that he couldn't go and do massive monologues or whatever. But I watched the first sort of 20 minutes of Terminator 2 last night. It was just on. And just the whole introduction of Arnie, where he goes and gets his, I want your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle, and all that stuff. And he's just fantastic because it's just perfect. He hardly never blinks. He's just the way that he looks like a robot, and that's exactly what you want. But he's perfect at that kind of thing. Any kind of thing where he needs his muscles, absolutely perfect for. I must watch it. I must admit, I think I need to put that as part of the homework. It's
really good fun. It really is. Like I said, it's got a lot of pedigree behind it as well.
Is it a gory movie? Is it?
A little bit. The story, I mean, I'll tell you the story. I mean, what was I, 10 when that came out? Probably just coming out to 11. And I really wanted to see it. So my dad took me and my brother to see it at the local cinema well underage. And it scared me, but I did love it.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there's bits in it that scared me. The bit with the witch, Jeannine, that scared me as a kid. But I loved it. What's not to love? Beheadings, giant snake, James Earl Jones.
Love James Earl Jones.
What more do you need?
Yeah.
Nothing.
That sounds like a good Friday night out.
Yes. Yeah.
Some pizza.
Yeah, and some pizza.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Jeannine's 1982. Neil, what's your 1982?
I went for First Blood with.
I went for First Blood. We've got exactly the same so far.
List. Well, who knew?
Jesus.
Yeah, First Blood, which I think is actually Sylvester Stallone proves that he is an actor in that movie. I know it's hard to decipher what he's saying, but the end of the movie is nearly heartbreaking when he's talking about his comrades and everything.
Yeah.
I just think it's fantastic, isn't it? The whole premise, the setup. I never bore of watching it now. No. Let's put it that way. If it's on telly, I'll easily watch First Blood. The others I can give or take, but that one, yeah, it was a great, great movie.
And if you look at that one and contrast it with like Rambo 3, they're like as far away from each other in a movie that is in the same trilogy.
Universe, yeah.
That is crazy because Rambo 3 is just like a cartoon. It's like
he's a superhero almost, isn't he?
But in this one, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And then the fact that they filmed the original ending, didn't they? Where he kills himself.
Yeah.
I'll put that is up on YouTube. I'll put that on the video playlist for our top heads as well. But a fan of that one, Jeannine?
Say it again. I'm so sorry.
The First Blood. Are you a fan of that?
First Blood. Oh no, I have not seen the Rambo movies.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, I missed those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd recommend First Blood.
The first one is definitely more. It's not. When you think of Rambo, you think of seeing him with his shirt off and he's like just firing, bullets in the air. Revenge. It's not like that at all. It's all about Vietnam vet trying to find his way in a small town and getting kicked out and getting, bullied and harassed, and he just flips because
I think I saw part of that. It sounds really familiar.
Yeah.
But Neil, you were mentioning that your dad brought you to cinema. My dad was a Vietnam vet, and he refused to see any movies that had any kind of I don't want to say action, but any kind of blood or gore or where people were getting blown up because he just couldn't. No. So I suppose I missed some of those because he just wouldn't watch them.
I mean, that makes absolute sense, doesn't it? I mean, we all watch those kind of things for entertainment, and there are people out there that lived it for real. So why would they want to go and pay money to go and see it again?
That's exactly what he would say. Why would I go pay money to watch that? Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Sorry to bring the room down.
No. It's fascinating because you don't think of that when you're seeing Rambo, like, ripping people apart and that, and you think, oh God, look at that. But for somebody that has been through that firsthand, why would they choose to go and see that as, in quotes, entertainment?
Exactly. I understood for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
He didn't talk about the Vietnam War much.
No.
Said very, very little about it. That was one thing that he made clear.
Yeah.
How long was he out there for, Jeannine, if I could ask?
He was out there in 64, 65, I think, for 2 years. He was on the USS Bennington, which is one of those ships that has the aircraft carrier on it. And he was a radar man on the ship. And he was also a Navy SEAL.
Wow.
Okay. Wow.
So he unfortunately had to go in country and blow up bridges and things like that.
Right. And the trouble is, I mean, like, I've never been anywhere near like real warfare. The nearest I've been is seeing it on movies. So you kind of get desensitized to it because it's just more people having a war. But you put yourself in the position of someone like your father and you think it just, how it must affect somebody just deep, it's just, it doesn't, you can't compute.
And also, like 18, I think he was 18.
Wow.
When he went in, right after high school, basically. Yeah. And of course, when he went into the Navy, they didn't know there was going to be a war. We didn't know that we were going to join. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And especially for us over here in the UK, it's we don't really appreciate the Vietnam War, I suppose, as much as the likes of you.
Very true.
It was something across the seas that was happening that we weren't a part of. Was it?
Like I say, we learn it from Platoon, and we learn it from movies. That's the thing. That's Good Morning Vietnam. That's where we learn it from. Not from first-hand accounts of somebody that that actually lives that kind of thing. I think that's where we don't have that education, do we?
No, no, we don't.
No, they have. I live near the ocean in Long Beach, and they'll have those aircraft carrier ships come in, and you can tour them. So he took me on a tour once, and he was almost like a kid in a candy store, not in a fun way, but like he was just showing me everything. I was just overwhelmed. This is where we slept. This is where we ate. It was really wild.
Yeah, I bet. Wow. Okay. It's hard to move on from that. That's such an amazing story. Okay, Jeannine, your 1983, please.
Return of the Jedi.
That's mine. Neil?
I was going to, but I thought, no, I'm going to put something else because I think it was going to be, it should have been, but I went for something different.
Okay.
Well, we'll pretend it was. It's fine.
Yeah. So, Jeannine, why Return of the Jedi?
It was a good movie. It was a good movie. It had an interesting story. I mean, it kept you entertained. You know what I mean? You were glued. You had to know what was happening next, and
indeed
all that good stuff. And I like when, like I say, action movies aren't my favorite, but when an action movie actually has a plot and is good, then that's better.
Yeah, and it was a culmination of the end of what we thought. Well, I thought at the time that was it. We'd never see another Star Wars film. That was it. Spoilers: Darth Vader's dead, and the Emperor's dead, and that's it. It's over. And who knows?
Well, we never thought after seeing Return of the Jedi that we'd ever see another one again either, did we?
No,
let's be honest.
Let alone see 1, 2, and 3, but let alone then see 7, 8, and 9, which maybe we shouldn't have. But there you go. That's another thing.
I was going to say we're not my favorite, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. So go on then, Neil. If yours isn't Return of the Jedi, what is it?
It's Scarface. Now, this might controversially, people might say it's not action, but if you look it up, it's all in a lot of other people's top 10 action films. So I thought I'll give that one a shot because I'm a big admirer of Scarface. Oliver Stone, again, we just spoke about. Great script, great performance from Al Pacino. So, I mean, will you guys allow it? I know some people are controversial on it.
I'll allow it.
Thank you, Jeannine.
I won't allow it. I'm just going to tell you. So we'll have to start all over again, Neil. Okay?
All right, then it's Return of the Jedi.
No, I mean, I think like we've done with all our top 10s, whatever you think is what you think, Neil. It doesn't, I mean, there's action in it. I wouldn't
There is a
call it
lot
an
of action.
movie.
Well, at the
in
end,
it.
yeah, there's a lot of action at the end, but no, I thought I'll put that one in because I mean I don't know where else there's not a genre of gangster, is there really?
Yeah, gangster movie, of course there is.
Would you say that's a full on? I mean,
if we ever do top 10 gangster movies, that would be in my top 10 gangster movies.
I mean, it definitely would be.
Yeah.
Godfather would be number one.
There you go.
Absolutely, I'd be with you on that one, Jeannine. But no, I thought, it's enough in there to call it an action film. The tenseness of when he has to go up into the bathroom with the chainsaw, it turns a bit gross and everything.
Yeah.
But it's got great performances by Al Pacino, Michelle Pfeiffer, and it's a great story, really, isn't it? The growth.
Yeah,
guys, could you give me just like a couple of minutes? I'm not feeling 100% right now. Could you just give me a second?
Yeah.
Just I won't be long.
All right. So what's the weather like where you are now then?
Today it's beautiful, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, it's sunny and warm and perfect LA weather.
Have you always lived in California? Have you?
Yeah, I have.
You're a California girl then.
I am very much LA girl.
Yeah.
Dodgers, live or die.
Yeah. Excellent stuff. Yeah, I've been to LA twice. I've always thought if I could be a semi-successful actor living in LA, I think that would be like the perfect life. So you haven't got to worry about where you paying rent and stuff. But I always seem to just like whenever I went to LA. I mean, actually, Neil and I went back in 2016, I think it was. We went for a week, and because the podcast that we were doing at that point. We had some fans that took us all around and showed us, like, we spent the day with them and stuff. And it was fantastic. They took us to some great sort of little places. We went to Cantor's and had something to eat. And they tried to get us up the Griffith Observatory by telling them that we were famous British TV stars, but they wouldn't, the security there didn't believe them. So that was
your name John Cleese?
No, it wasn't. No, it was so weird because it was a husband and wife, and the husband got out of the car and went up to the security guys, and we could hear him, and he said, "Don't you know if I've got in the back of the car? It's Paolo and Neil from the UK. They're big, massive TV stars." And the security guard was just going, "He's not on the list. I'm sorry, they're not on the list. They can't come up here." And he was really tried. He really tried, bless him. But yeah, it's a lovely, it's a wonderful place. I mean, I don't know in regards to like living in LA. So how far away are you from LA then?
I'm a few miles away. So do you know the freeway system out here at all? Or
I mean, I hear is it the 101 and you hear about things like that?
Yeah, I live off the 405 and the 605.
405, right. The 405 is the other one that I recognize, right?
It's a big one, yeah. It's awful.
Is it the one that's always like got traffic jams?
Yeah, and the 110, they're all bad. But so if from here to downtown LA probably takes, I don't know, about not long. If there's no traffic, maybe like 30 or 45 minutes.
Oh, right, okay.
Right, but if there's traffic, which normally there is, they can take a while.
Right.
I think about driving like to Dodger Stadium. You have to kind of go through LA, and it can take a while.
Right.
But luckily, there's I don't have to go there a lot.
I was going to say, seeing as it's like an hour away, do you often sort of think, "Oh, just going to pop into LA"? Do you do that? But I suppose you don't do the touristy things, do you? Because you live there.
I have. I've done some of the touristy things. My sister was here a few years ago, who lives in Texas, and we did the TMZ, ride around.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yes, a lot better. I'm on these new tablets, painkillers, and they sometimes make me feel a bit nauseous, and I was coming over a bit nauseous right then.
I'm so sorry.
Why didn't you just puke in front of us all? That would have gone viral. We'd have gone viral then, Neil. Come on.
Then I would have puked. Then you would have puked.
Then I would have puked, and then we'd have all been puking together.
My dog would have puked.
I suddenly started to get very sweaty, and I was thinking, I'm not feeling well here.
I'm so sorry.
I had an operation a couple of weeks ago on my ankle, and it's the side effects from that, I think.
Oh yeah, painkillers can really be the worst.
I've been on them for about 8 months now. So
I don't know if I could do that. They just hit me yucky. I had surgery it's been a while now, but I took the pain pills or the Vicodin or whatever they gave me for, I don't know, about a week. And then I was like, I just can't do this anymore. I had to, use something else for the pain.
Yeah. But sorry about that, guys. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. It's all right as long as I can use that as the promo for the episode. Is that right, Neil?
A picture of Neil.
Yeah.
I just wanted that look of him was in. I'm sorry, but I had to go and I was going to be puking and stuff, so that's fine. Okay, right. So that was Scarface was your 1983. My 1983 was Return of the Jedi. So back to 1984 then, Jeannine. What's your top action movie for 84?
Terminator.
That's my 1984.
And mine.
Yay! We've done it again.
Yeah. How could it not be?
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Go on then, Jeannine. Why? Arnie, I suppose.
I saw it back in the day, and I remember just being kind of, I was young, but being blown away by it. The story was amazing. It was acted so well by all the actors, and it just was good. When you were done watching it, you were like, that was a good movie. And it was full of action.
It was. And I will say it's my favorite Terminator film. I think it's better than Terminator 2. There you go. Controversial to a lot of people. But I prefer Arnie as the bad guy.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah,
but the other thing is, I can always remember Terminator was always spoken in the same breath as a lot of the video nasties, like The Exterminator was another one, wasn't it? And oh God, what was The Burning and all that? Like when you were at school, they would say, "Have you seen The Terminator?" And you'd feel scared because you thought it was a really bad movie. And then obviously you watch it in the context now, but I mean, I think a lot of it still holds up.
Some of the effects are a little bit ropey, but it still holds up overall. Did you get to see it at the cinema, Jeannine?
You know what? It's really hard to remember. It's possible, and I don't remember. So I'll say no.
We didn't get the opportunity because in the UK we don't have an R rating where you can go to a movie accompanied by an adult. That was slapped with an 18 certificate in our country, so you had to be 18 or over to go and see that. So it was unfortunately we had to wait for the VHS to come out, and of course in those days it took forever.
Yeah,
and we were all chomping at the bit.
Yeah.
Can we sit? I
think that's what made it, like when you're in the playground and they were talking about movies like Terminator and that, it made them a lot more, a lot worse than they actually were, you know, because you thought it's an 18 certificate. Oh my God, it must be absolutely terrible. But
yeah, there must be all that in.
Yeah. But so what was that? That was 1984, wasn't it? I'll just have a look and see what else was released in 84.
Beverly Hills Cop, which very nearly made my list. I thought, shall I put that one instead? But
Greystoke,
I
The
love
Legend
Beverly
of
Hills
Tarzan.
Cop.
Yeah, me. I love Beverly Hills Cop. It's so fun.
It's ridiculous and it's a comedy, I think.
Yeah.
And the acting was spot on. You know, they did their part, and it was great.
Yeah,
it was.
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom was 1984 as well.
It was,
Gremlins was 1984. The Karate Kid, 1984.
Oh, I love the Karate Kid.
Yeah. The Cannonball Run 2 was 1984. Forgot there was even a Cannonball Run 2. Forgot about that. Yeah, there was a few good ones there, but yeah, I think it was Terminator all the way for me. Had to be.
Yeah.
Okay, right. We're halfway through, so it's time for this. Oh, wrong one. I knew I'd do that.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
Pop quiz, hot shot. We got a quiz then. Oh, Jeannine, don't look so surprised. Here we go. It's first one to 3. And if you get the question wrong, it goes over to your opponent to get a bonus point. So, Jeannine, as you are the guest, do you want to go first or would you like to go second?
I'll go first.
Okay. What's the name of the building where Die Hard's events take place?
Nakatomi Tower.
Is correct.
Yeah.
Well done. Neil, who played baddie Howard Payne in Speed?
Dennis Hopper.
Is correct. Jeannine.
Hello,
I think all the words follow.
What does Commandos and Colonel John Matrix eat for breakfast?
Oh, I have no idea, but I'm gonna guess just because I'm gonna say Pop-Tarts.
It's not Pop-Tarts. Neil?
Is this a literal breakfast or is it?
I'm asking the question. I don't need questions asked back.
He eats
I'm looking for
green
answers.
berets for breakfast.
Is correct. He does eat green berets for breakfast. How did you get that one?
Because I remember something in the movie. Well,
that was well done. Well done. Okay, Neil, for the win. What was the name given to the serial killer in Cobra?
There you go. Marion Cobretti. I can't remember.
No.
It's quite sinister, though, isn't it, when you watch that movie back?
It is. Jeannine, you got any idea?
I also don't know.
No? Okay. It was actually Night Slasher.
Oh.
That was his code name, yes. Jeannine, here's your question. Oh, is it? Yeah, here's your question. Which production giant produced Batman in 1989? As in which studio?
Warner Brothers?
Is correct. Well done. It's 2-2. Neil?
Yep.
This one's for you. Who directed Beverly Hills Cop?
Martin Brest. Or Brest.
Well done, Neil. You did. You got the win.
Sorry, Jeanette.
Well done. See, that puking certainly helped your brain, didn't it?
It did. Yeah. Cleared me out.
Cleared it up a little.
It cleared the brain waves, indeed. Okay, back to the job in hand. Jeannine, your 1985 movie, please.
Mad Max.
That's mine. And why? Why Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, to give it its full title?
At the time, it was amazing. The camera work, just everything. The cinematography, I guess you'd call it, and the acting, and it was
Turner.
really Go ahead.
Turner.
Sorry.
Yeah, Tina Turner.
Yeah.
Tina Turner. She was amazing. I absolutely love Tina Turner. I'm a fan of hers. But yeah, it was fun. It was, I guess, one of those like blockbusters. You know what I mean? It was, everybody saw it. It must have been the summertime that it came to. Hold on a second. I'm going to let my dog out of the room.
Okay. It was June 29th. It was when it came out. Hello, doggy.
Yeah.
We have a new guest.
Her name's Kimba.
Hello,
Kimba.
She's a sweet. I think my mom came home and she's, wants to go say hi to her.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I find with the Mad Max movies, the first two, the first one was obviously very low budget. The second one was still quite low budget and felt like a low budget movie. But this one had a big budget, but also still felt like a Mad Max movie. There were bits in it that were a bit weird and a bit Master Blaster and all that kind of stuff. But it was just like you said, Jeannine, it was fun. It was a great fun movie, and it was Mel Gibson. I nearly said Mel Brooks then. Every time we talk about Mel Gibson,
be awesome,
for some
wouldn't
scene, I was saying Mel Brooks
is Mad Max.
All these comedy movies keep bleeding into we got to do comedy.
We got to do comedy. We got to do comedy. But that's why I chose it as well, because it's got, and this is the year that Back to the Future came out. There's some great Jewel of the Nile, which was another good one. Teen Wolf was another good one. Commando came out this year. So there's some great action movies that came out this year. But for me, if it's got fun and some great action, and Mel Gibson being good Mel Gibson,
right?
This was him at his absolute peak. I feel like the sort of
very long-haired Mel Gibson.
Yes, mid to late 80s, and he's just very, very cool in it. Even when he gets his hair cut, he's just very, very cool. So yeah, that's a great one. That's my 1985 as well. Neil, what's your 1985?
Back to the Future.
Oh, there you go.
That is a great movie.
I just couldn't not. I mean, we've spoken so highly again on our lists. I just thought I can't not put it there. We're reluctant to use the I word, but I will say that one is. It's an iconic movie now. It was a game changer, and yeah, I watched it again recently, and it really hasn't dated at all. No. So
I agree. It holds up for sure.
Yeah.
I completely agree. Yeah, it was a toss-up for me, but yeah, you're not wrong there, Neil. Absolutely not wrong. Okay, Jeannine, 1986, please.
Aliens.
That's my 1986.
They mostly come at night.
They mostly come at night. Indeed.
And it's mine. So.
Is it yours as well?
Yeah. Yeah, I very nearly put Big Trouble in Little China. I was umming and ahhing between the two. That's why I said to you, maybe it'll be on my list. I had to decide. I'm going to put Aliens, because you just can't not, can you?
Yeah, I almost put Big Trouble in Little China as well, just because it's classic, but it is a comedy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of action in it, too.
I love a lot of action, yeah. And a great performance by Kurt Russell, I think.
Jack Burton, yes.
Yeah. He makes a great action hero, Kurt Russell. I know we're diverging.
No, but he's one of those guys that's got everything. He's a bit like Mel Gibson. He's got the looks. He knows how to play cool. An amazing head of hair. I mean, even now, you look at him now. He's got one of those. I would kill for that kind of hair. For any kind of hair, to be fair, but I would kill for that kind of hair, because it just. Yeah. It's just he looks like a movie star.
Yeah, he does. Russell. But going back to Aliens, I think James Cameron was genius in what he did. Now, I'm not saying I prefer Aliens over Alien. I actually think they're two different films. Alien is a good sci-fi horror. Aliens is a sci-fi action movie. Yeah. And they're split. So I sort of have equal love to them. But Aliens, we haven't seen anything like it, where it wasn't a human against a human in that sort of an action
and it was a female hero.
Exactly. And way before its time, really, in there.
Yep.
And that's something I really admire about James Cameron. He really does. He's quite strong on that front. But absolutely amazing film.
And again, I would say it's timeless special effects on it as well. It's like those special effects in Aliens holds up like even now.
Oh yeah.
without a doubt.
Well, some of it.
Some of it, yeah, some of it. Some of it.
But also,
not, but...
James Cameron's just got this magic touch, hasn't he? I mean, how he makes things so big is amazing to me because, you know, I've just watched the most recent Avatar movie a few weeks ago and thought it was the most average thing, but it's huge, isn't it? It's huge.
Same with the first Avatar movie. It was, you know, it was a basic story, essentially. It was good. It's interesting. But yeah, the way he does it on screen is truly amazing.
Crazy, isn't it?
I even think if somebody else did Titanic, that it would not have been, you know, the movie that it was. Even the same script, same actors, maybe whatever, it still would not have been the blockbuster.
I think the one thing with James Cameron is that he puts every single dollar and cent up on the screen.
Yeah.
That's with every movie that he does, they may be, you know, they may cost $200 million, but every single penny of that is up on the screen that you can see.
Yeah.
And
I mean, he replicated that staircase in the Titanic and all.
Yeah, just the attention to detail is
exactly.
Yeah, you can't knock him for it, can you, at all?
No, you can't. So that's another one. So let's see. So if we had 1, 2, I think we've had 3 so far. 3 years we've had 1, 2, 3 years we've had exactly the same, all 3 of us. So that's good. I like that. It's nice and neat. It's good for my anxiety to have everything nice and neat. So, Jeannine, 1987 then, please. Can we go again?
We have the first Predator.
Oh, okay.
That's a great choice.
That movie scared me.
Yeah, and an honourable choice for me because that nearly made my list.
That was the one that it was flip of a coin for me for this year, without a shadow of a doubt. But it's Arnie again. This was Arnie's decade, I feel, especially the last sort of 4 or 5 years. He didn't miss, did he? Really, I think with his choices.
And again, another one where he knew he could just kind of be himself, and you know what I mean. He knew what to do, and he did a great job. And I was thoroughly scared by that movie.
But that's the one. It is still shocking now. Some of the deaths.
Yeah.
In that. Yeah, and it's gruesome and gross.
John McTiernan's run, wasn't it? He was on that perfect run for a little bit.
For a few.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's some great movies. Oh my God, it's just completely gone blank. Oh well,
but it is funny as well. I mean, what great line at the end! You ugly.
The movie?
With the when the Predator repeats, "You're one ugly mother."
Oh right,
funker, aren't you? Yeah. Always makes me laugh. Made me. I didn't want to offend.
No, but I like that when in a movie. Any movie, when you're scared or upset or something, and then they do something that's so shocking, and you're like, it's fun. It
changes you awake, doesn't it? Because sometimes you can be in a movie, and even if there's lots of action, you can get a little bit, like the war movies, you get a bit desensitized to it. When they chuck something in there that is like ultra horrific or something you're not expecting, it keeps you awake in the movie.
Yeah.
And I think Predator does that better than probably
especially
any
the
movie.
Death of Carl Weathers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though you can see his arm behind him.
Yeah.
But there you go. It don't matter. Yeah, Carl Weathers, fantastic. Go on then, Neil. What's your 1987?
I wonder if we got the same. Would it be Lethal Weapon, perchance?
It is Lethal Weapon, yes.
Yeah, that's mine as well. The buddy cop pairing to the greatest degree. I think it's a great movie. Is this a Christmas movie? There you go.
It is a Christmas movie, as far as I know. It was released in March. For me,
but it starts at Christmas time.
It's at Christmas time.
Going to kill himself at Christmas time.
Yeah,
like you do.
And Gary Busey goes in there and shoots up the Christmas tree at the end as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He does. But yeah, this is where it revolutionized or changed the dynamics of a buddy cop movie, isn't it?
It broke the mold.
It did, and dialogue wise as well. I would say it broke the mold. Shane Black sort of did then what I know to a different degree to what Tarantino did with Reservoir Dogs in the early 90s. It changed movie dialogue and it changed an action film. And also Mel Gibson and Danny Glover are just brilliant together. Their
they
dynamics
are brilliant.
They really are.
It is a buddy movie, but one thing I liked about it is that at the end they were better friends, but they still weren't like, they still were in character, I guess, and they were hugging at the end, kind of thing. But you still knew there was that. I don't know. It's. I mean, it didn't. Their acting.
It pretty much took them all movie to become sort of buddies.
Yeah,
because they weren't. They didn't really trust each other from the very start. For me, it's that scene where Mel Gibson is gonna like blow his brains out.
Oh yeah,
and he's in the trailer by himself, and he's crying. That is just amazing acting. Whatever you think about Mel Gibson and who he is and what he stands for and all that kind of stuff, that for me was one of them. Just how you get to that position where you have to do that maybe 5-10 times because you got to act it. I don't know, because that's a skill.
He brought it.
Yeah, that's a skill, and he's a perfect leading man in that. He looks good, and he has been for all the Lethal Weapon movies. I think he's great in all the Lethal Weapon, as is Danny Glover. But
they are great, even when they're a weak movie. Like number 4 is very weak compared to the other 3.
Yeah, and I hope that they don't do number 5. They keep saying that they're going to do number 5, and Mel Gibson's going to direct it because obviously Richard Donner passed away last year or a year before. Let's hope not. Anyway, keep it as it is, Mel. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay then. So, what are we on? 1988 then, please, Jeannine.
I wonder if we got all the same on this one.
Probably. I don't know if I wrote mine down right. Hang on a second. Oh, 88 is, yes, I did miss one, but Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Nakatomi Tower.
Yeah.
Die Hard. Yes, it's a 3. We got them all 3.
How can it not be? Probably,
how can it not be?
Like they say, another perfect movie, like we said before with Indiana Jones.
And I would say the greatest action movie of all time.
And you were shocked at, every step of the way. You were, oh my gosh. And then just everything I think of, even the limo driver, that whole
Argyle, yeah.
Argyle, yes, I love him.
Yeah.
It was also during the 80s was a time when they were in LA, especially, they were building these towers.
Yeah.
That was really happening. So it felt very real, the whole thing. It was well done. And I love the actors. I can't think of anybody's name because I'm drawing a stupid blank.
Yeah,
but,
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman. Bonnie Bedelia was the wife. Bonnie Bedelia, I think her name
Bonnie Bedelia, that's her name.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies where all the ingredients was absolutely perfect.
Pacing
was great.
Of it. That's Bruce what makes Willis, a great action movie.
The one thing about that movie is that Bruce Willis was a normal man. That was the thing. He wasn't a superhero. He bled. He got hurt. He got shot.
And as you watched it for the first time, you felt his pain the way through it, didn't you?
Yeah, especially when he's in that bathroom and he's taking the glass out of his feet and telling the policeman, just say this to my wife, and so, it's so good, such a good movie.
Yeah, when they started yelling "shoot the glass" in German.
Yes,
I know very little bit of German, like just from my family. My grandparents spoke Yiddish, so Yiddish and German are similar. So I had an idea of what they were saying, and I remember being in the theater like, "Oh my god, my goodness!"
And again, a great script. I mean, it's just unique. And I know people that I've never bothered reading the novel because I'd heard that don't bother. The movie for one of the first times is so much better than the than the book. But
and it was originally Frank Sinatra was going to play John McClane, and then Burt Reynolds I think was also
there was
in for Stallone, and then Arnie.
Yeah, there was definitely Stallone was on the list.
I think maybe De Niro. I think was the other one. I think
imagine De Niro.
Couldn't see it.
You shouldn't have me.
But yeah, it's that's so good.
My other favorite scene is when he's crawling through the duct and he says. Got the lighter and come to the coast. We'll have some fun or whatever. Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
It's so good, yeah. And that's because at the very start he's on he's going through the airport, isn't he? And some woman with tight hot pants come running past him, and jumps on her boyfriend, and he just looks at her and goes, "Fucking California."
Yeah.
Right. I thought that's a tattoo there, isn't it? You're a T-shirt. You should just have that on a T-shirt.
I did see a Christmas one. My family does watch that movie every Christmas, just so you know, it's our Christmas movie. And I saw a Christmas ornament one time that I'm so sad I didn't get, but it was John McClane in the duct with the lighter.
I saw that.
Really?
I saw that.
Because you can
I have to
buy.
add that to my tree.
They're selling this year. You can buy a countdown to Christmas, which is the tower and Alan Rickman falling, and every day it moves down.
I've seen that as well.
Have you seen those
I've
as well? Yeah,
that.
so that'd be quite good.
That's amazing. Is he like this?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He's like flailing like that, and then as each day goes, you put him lower and lower. I've seen that. I'm gonna have to see if we can.
Like an advent calendar.
It's awesome, isn't it?
So good. We've come to the final year. So, Jeannine, 1989, please.
Make sure I have this right.
Okay.
I wrote it down, but I'm not. Yes, Batman. That would be Batman.
Same as you, Jeannine.
Yeah, with
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton, who shocked everybody. I was shocked. I didn't know how he would do as Batman. Like I said, I'm a big comic book fan. And before that had only been, the campy Batman, which was fine. This blew me away. It blew me away with Danny DeVito, blew me away.
Jack Nicholson, yeah.
Amazing. Everybody. I liked it. The way the characters came off, I thought it was well written, and it was fun.
Yeah. It was. I'm going to go again. I might be controversial to other people, but I think this is the best Batman movie ever made so far.
I don't think you're alone in that.
I think it's better than Nolan. I love Nolan's Batman, but this had more of the sense of the comic book about it. This had, I think Jack Nicholson's Joker is by far better than Heath Ledger's Joker, controversially, because it's more
very
in line.
Different.
It's more in line with what I grew up with and know what the Joker was about. I admire what Nolan did, but I didn't like the realism. I don't want that. I want my superheroes to be superheroes. I don't want them to be Billy from next door who could do it. It doesn't, I want a separation from realism to fantasy.
Yeah. It's an interesting concept, but it's better kept like the comics. Like I agree with you. I like The Dark Knight. Don't get me wrong. I'm a fan of The Dark Knight, just because the movie itself, separately, not as a Batman. I don't know. Because it was amazing too. I'll give it its credit. Heath Ledger, I thought was.
Yeah, amazing. He was amazing, and absolutely, what a performance! But he was a psychopath. He wasn't the Joker. Does that make sense to me? That's how I look at it.
I do see what you mean, and it's interesting. Well, the new Joker movie that's come out, have you seen that?
Yeah, really liked it.
Yeah. I liked it better. Not that he was better at playing the Joker than Heath or anything like that, but I liked having that backstory. It was so real. I work in mental health as well, and I do billing. I don't do therapy, but seeing him decompensate like that was, for me, was very, disturbing is not the word. It was a little too real. It was a little too real. It was really something to watch. But.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can remember when they said that, they said that Mr. Mom is going to be Batman, and everybody. I mean, this is before the internet, so there wasn't internet outcry. It was just people writing into movie magazines saying this is ridiculous. But when he was great, because the one thing you need is a great chin if you're Batman, and
Truly.
Michael Keaton has got a great chin, because that's all you see of Batman is you see that bit of him, And I thought he was great because he played it with that little hint of comedy in
but
certain
also
scenes.
The flick of a madman when he,
exactly. Yeah. You want to get nuts. That scene. Yeah. So good. So good.
And Kim Basinger was really good in that movie.
He was. I like
Vicky Vale.
Very
great
good.
soundtrack. Prince.
Yeah.
Prince. Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong.
Tim Burton at the height of when he was just
doing really interesting stuff.
Yeah, I loved what he did with the Penguin and the Joker, like we said.
Yes, yeah. And Catwoman, obviously, as well in number 2 as well.
2 perfect Batman films.
Yeah. Wasn't my 1989, though. My 1989, so I've ruined it by not having the same as you guys. But mine was Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I had to have Indy back in there.
That was a really good Indiana Jones.
Another great movie. It's just, it's action from start to finish, right from the start where it's young Indy going through, and it's the Nazis again. You know, I hate these guys.
Always Nazis.
Yeah, and it's just we've spoken about it again so many times, so it's. But I'm with you there for my 1989. I was just looking to see if you had Rambo 3 in 1989, Crocodile Dundee 2 in 1989. Let's see, Roger Rabbit was 1989. Red Heat, another Arnie movie in 1989. Midnight Run, would you class that as an action movie? More of a comedy, I would say.
Yeah. Again, Martin Brest.
Martin Brest, yeah. Talking of Brest, Elvira.
That should be in the horror.
It should be. Moonwalker. They Live with Roddy Piper.
That's a great action movie.
That's a good action Piper. Action one, anyway. There you go. Okay, before we end this shenanigans, let's give you some honourable mentions. Rick Tyndall said, Die Hard, still not a Christmas movie, though, he says. Controversially. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Lethal Weapon, and Midnight Run. At Nowhere Andy said, so many to choose from. Tough one. Aliens, Commando, The Running Man, Terminator, could go on forever. Kit Torpin said the greatest Christmas movie of all time is also the greatest 80s action movie, Die Hard, along with Raiders, Lethal Weapon, and Road Warrior. Mike Price actually gave us a countdown from all of his years. 1980, The Blues Brothers. 81, Raiders. 82, 48 Hours. 83, Octopussy. 84, Terminator. 85, Runaway Train. 86, Aliens. 87, RoboCop, another great movie. RoboCop. 88, Die Hard, and 89, Henry V, Kenneth Branagh's version,
which is a very good film.
It's got a lot of action stuff in there.
Give yourself 3.5 hours, Jeannine, one night and watch it. It's the full length play.
Yeah.
Wow. I'll take a restroom break, maybe.
Yeah. Lisa Buchanan, Die Hard, obviously, and Lethal Weapon. And Nikki Dennis said Escape from New York, which is another great movie. Yeah, it is a great RoboCop, movie. Roadhouse, another great movie. Beverly Hills Cop, also Flash Gordon. Flash, exactly. And Police Story, Jackie Chan. So there you go. We've done it. The whole 80s action movies. We have to make sure next time, Jeannine, we'll do comedy movies. And then
no worries.
Whether you want to do 80s or we do 90s or whatever you want to do, we'll do the same. And that'll be interesting because I'll just spend an hour and a half talking about Cannonball Run. And then maybe Cannonball Run 2, whatever year that came out.
You need to watch Cannonball Run 2 again. You might not look at it the same way.
Yeah, it's not quite the same, is it?
Did you guys have the cartoon that Cannonball, the movie Cannonball Run was, to me, it was just like a cartoon that I used to watch when I was a kid. The Wacky Races.
Races,
yeah. I love that.
Dick Dastardly and Muttley and Penelope Midstop, and I used to love that. Love that.
Very much a staple of our childhood.
Indeed.
Oh, good.
Yeah. It was one of those cartoons that they would our sort of cartoon time would show 5 or 6 different cartoons, and then I think that one always used to be at the end. It used to be, but there used to be so many different ones. But yeah, I mean, Wacky Races was just the Anthill Mob, wasn't that part?
That's right.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't remember. That's funny.
I will if I can find them on YouTube for our top heads. I'll put some Wacky Races up on the video playlist as well, because
that's awesome.
You can't beat that. Right, before we say our goodbyes, Neil, do you want to tell everybody how they can get in touch with us and all that gubbins?
Of course I will. So you can find us on all the social medias at Top 10 Pods. Do please give us a click, give us a like, give us a follow, give us a message on there even, I believe. Email us at top10pods@hotmail.com with any questions or any ideas for a top 10 yourself. Come along and help support the podcast at patreon.com/top10pods. All sorts of rewards where you can become a guest yourself. Check out all of our links via the link tree. You can find the link in the show notes. And please do come, subscribe, leave a review and a rating wherever the hell you get your podcast from.
Perfect. Well done, Neil. How you feeling? You okay? You're not
I feel a lot better now. I've got my colour back, I think.
Wonderful. I had the greatest time. It was so nice to meet you guys.
Well, Jeannine, it's been our absolute pleasure to have you today. And you'll hopefully come back and do it again.
I guess I will.
Yay!
Oh, that's music to our ears.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters. So it just leaves me to say thank you very much, Jeannine. Thank you very much, Neil.
Thank you very much, Pav. Thank you very much, Jeannine. A wonder to see you again. It's been great.
Thank you, Pav and Neil. I can't tell you. I had a great time.
Excellent. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching and listening. And let's go start the countdown.
10.